All right, get ready for this one, because we are going deep on something pretty fascinating and maybe a little out there.
Oh, I like out there.
We are talking about curcumin.
Okay.
You know, that like bright yellow thing in turmeric?
Right, yeah.
And we are looking at how it might be used to treat eye conditions.
Interesting.
And what really sparked this deep dive was the work of Professor Dr. Suhail Sarwar,
Okay.
a leading eye surgeon in Lahore, Pakistan.
Wow.
He's been using curcumin to treat all kinds of eye problems and getting some pretty remarkable results. So we're going to dig into the science behind it all.
It's interesting how these traditional remedies are now being looked at with real scientific methods.
Yeah.
With my background in ophthalmology and pharmacology, I'm excited to unpack this.
To be honest, I am starting off a little skeptical.
Okay.
I know turmeric gets a lot of hype, right?
Yeah.
For its health benefits.
It's kind of a cure-all, right?
But can curcumin really have that much power
Right.
when it comes to our eyes?
Yeah. Well, let's break it down.
Okay. So curcumin is a natural compound. It comes from turmeric, which is a spice.
Yeah.
It's been used for centuries.
Right.
Especially in South Asia,
Okay.
including for eye health.
Interesting.
And we know that it has anti-inflammatory
Okay.
and antioxidant properties.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Inflammation just seems to be at the root of so many problems.
Yeah.
But when we talk about eye conditions specifically,
Right.
is there actual evidence that curcumin can help?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
There aren't a ton of studies
Right.
specifically on curcumin and eye health,
Okay.
but there is a growing body of research that hints at its potential.
Okay.
And some of it is coming from some unexpected places.
Oh.
So there was one study that looked into curcumin's effects
Mm.
on certain types of leukemia cells.
Leukemia.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty big jump from eye problems.
It might seem that way, but stick with me.
This study actually found that curcumin was able to suppress the growth
Okay.
of these cancerous cells.
Wow.
And here's the key finding. It didn't harm any of the healthy cells.
Really?
So that suggests that curcumin could be a safe and targeted therapy,
Interesting.
which is huge when we were talking about treating any disease.
So I'm seeing the connection here.
Okay.
If it can fight cancer cells without damaging the healthy ones, could it treat eye cancers too?
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, we definitely need more research specifically on eye cancers.
Right.
But this study definitely lays some intriguing groundwork.
That's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
What about research that looks more directly at its impact on eye health?
Well, one study explored a chemically modified curcumin,
Okay.
and they looked at its effects on dental materials.
Hold on. Dental materials.
Yeah.
Now I am really lost.
This is where it gets really fascinating.
All right.
So they found that this modified curcumin was incredibly effective at preventing bacteria from breaking down dental composites. So if it can protect these materials
Okay.
from bacterial damage,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, could it also offer similar protection against bacterial infections in the eye?
I see where you're going with this. It's like finding clues in different fields
Yeah,
and putting them all together.
totally.
So are there other studies that suggest curcumin could be beneficial for our eyes?
There are,
Okay.
and they cover a surprisingly wide range of applications.
Interesting.
For example, a lot of studies are focused on developing what are called nanoparticles.
Nanoparticles.
So
Oh,
these are tiny, tiny particles that can deliver curcumin directly
okay.
to specific areas within the eye.
So we're talking about like microscopic delivery systems for medicine.
Pretty much.
That sounds almost futuristic.
It is pretty cutting edge.
Wow.
These nanoparticles have the potential to make curcumin much more effective
Okay.
because they can deliver it right where it needs to go
Right.
and in a way that the body can easily absorb.
That's interesting.
This could be a total game changer for treating eye conditions.
All right. I am intrigued by this nanotech.
Yeah.
What else have these studies uncovered?
Well, one study, not directly related to eye health, but it looked at curcumin's impact on cervical cancer cells.
Okay.
It found that curcumin could potentially influence cancer development
Okay.
by altering the activity of a specific protein.
So could this protein be a target for future research into treating eye cancer?
That's exactly the kind of connection researchers are exploring.
Wow.
And it highlights how studying curcumin's effects in different parts of the body can actually offer valuable insights for eye health.
Interesting.
There's another study that focused on curcumin's potential in wound healing.
So if it can help wounds on skin, could it help treat corneal wounds or injuries to the eye?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
More research is needed to confirm that.
Okay.
But the potential applications are certainly exciting.
This is really opening my mind to the possibilities.
Yeah.
Are there any other studies that stand out?
There's one that looked at curcumin-loaded lipid nanoparticles
Oh.
that are designed to fight a specific type of bacteria.
Right.
Now, these bacteria are often found in root canals,
Oh.
but they can also cause eye infections.
Oh, wow.
So this research could lead to new ways to treat bacterial eye infections using these targeted nanoparticles.
It's incredible how much potential these tiny particles seem to have.
Yeah.
What about other types of eye conditions?
Well, one study found that curcumin was able to make drug-resistant ovarian cancer cells sensitive to chemotherapy again.
Wait, back up a second.
Yeah.
Drug-resistant cancer cells.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
So it means that the cancer cells have basically outsmarted the drugs
Okay.
that are meant to kill them, making them much harder to treat.
So it's a big
It's a
challenge.
huge challenge in cancer treatment, yeah.
So this study found that curcumin could make those resistant cells vulnerable to treatment again.
Exactly.
Man.
It's like flipping a switch.
Wow.
It made the cancer cells susceptible to the chemo once more.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But how does this relate to eye health?
Drug resistance is a major issue in ophthalmology as well,
Oh, okay.
especially when we're talking about eye cancers.
Right.
If we can apply this knowledge to the eye,
Yeah.
it could lead to breakthroughs in treating these really difficult cases.
So curcumin could be a game changer in that area as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this one compound seems to have so many potential applications.
It really speaks to the power of natural compounds
Yeah.
and the need to explore their therapeutic potential even further.
It's like we have a natural pharmacy
Totally.
right at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
I think the most exciting takeaway is that we are really just scratching the surface
Okay.
of curcumin's potential.
Yeah.
There is so much more to learn and explore.
And to think it all came from this, the work of a pioneering eye surgeon in Pakistan. You know, using this ancient remedy
Right?
to address modern eye conditions.
It's amazing.
It really goes to show that sometimes the most groundbreaking discoveries come from these unexpected places.
Totally. Yeah, it's a true testament to people like Professor Sarwar pushing the boundaries of medicine.
Yeah.
And bridging that gap between,
Right.
traditional knowledge and modern science.
It makes you wonder what else is out there.
Yeah.
But getting back to curcumin,
Right.
what's the big picture here for our listener?
Yeah.
Is this stuff really a miracle cure for eye problems?
Well, I wouldn't go that far just yet.
Okay.
The research is really promising.
Right.
But it's important to remember a lot of these studies are still early.
Right.
We need more research,
Yeah.
particularly like clinical trials,
Yeah.
to really understand how effective
Okay.
and safe curcumin is
Yeah.
for specific eye conditions.
So you're saying we shouldn't all rush out and stock up on turmeric supplements just yet?
Exactly. While turmeric is a great spice, it may have some benefits.
Right.
It's not a replacement for proper medical care.
Right.
It's always best to talk to a doctor
Yeah.
before starting new supplements or treatments,
Especially when it comes to your eyes.
especially when it comes to your eyes. Yeah.
That's really important advice.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a good reminder that even natural remedies
Right.
can interact with medication.
Yeah,
Or other health conditions.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Finding a balance is key.
Right.
Combining traditional knowledge
Yeah.
with that scientific rigor.
Now, you mentioned earlier one of the challenges with curcumin is its bioavailability.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means and why it matters?
Sure. So bioavailability basically means how well your body can absorb
Okay.
and use a substance.
Yeah.
So even though curcumin has all these medicinal properties,
Right.
our bodies don't absorb it that easily.
Interesting.
That's why a lot of the research we talked about focuses on new delivery systems.
Right. Like those nanoparticles.
Exactly. To
Right.
improve curcumin's absorption
Yeah.
and ultimately make it more effective.
So it's not just about what it can do.
Right.
It's how we get it to work once it's in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty complex puzzle.
It is. That's what makes this research so exciting.
Yeah.
Scientists are always coming up with new ways to unlock curcumin's full potential.
We touched on a study earlier
Yeah.
that looked at curcumin's potential to slow down aging.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. So this study really looked at curcumin
Okay.
and how it could fight age-related diseases.
Right.
And they really focused on how curcumin can impact
Okay.
different processes in the body
Mm.
that are involved in aging.
Okay.
And this is especially true with oxidative stress
Right.
and inflammation,
Yep.
which we know play a role in many age-related conditions.
So if it can slow down aging in general,
Yeah.
could that mean it could slow down those changes in the eye too?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
We definitely need more research
Yeah.
to confirm that specific application,
Right.
but it is a very exciting avenue.
It would be incredible.
Oh.
Almost like giving our eyes a fighting chance
Yeah,
against time.
exactly.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this theme of targeting the cause
Yeah.
seems to run through all the research,
Okay.
whether it's cancer, inflammation, or age-related changes.
Right.
Curcumin seems to go after
Okay.
those fundamental processes
Yeah.
that contribute to these conditions.
So it's not about masking symptoms.
Right.
It's going to that root of the problem.
Exactly.
That's a powerful approach.
That's what sets curcumin apart
Okay.
from a lot of conventional treatments.
Okay.
It can potentially influence
Yeah.
multiple pathways
Right.
and really get to the core of the issue.
So we've talked about its potential in fighting cancer,
Right.
protecting against infection,
Yeah.
even slowing down aging.
Yeah.
Is there anything else this wonder compound can do?
Well, we also discussed a study
Yeah.
that looked at curcumin's ability
Right.
to make drug-resistant ovarian cancer cells
Right.
sensitive to chemo again.
Can you remind us what drug resistance means?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It basically means
Yeah.
the cancer cells have become resistant
Okay.
to the drugs we usually use to treat them,
Right.
making them much harder to kill.
Right. It's a hurdle.
A major hurdle in cancer treatment.
So this study found that curcumin could make those resistant cells vulnerable again.
Yes, it reversed their resistance.
Wow.
It made them susceptible to the treatment again.
That's remarkable. But I am still trying to wrap my head around how this relates to eye health.
Right.
Help me connect the dots.
Drug resistance is also a problem in ophthalmology,
Okay.
especially with eye cancers.
Right.
If we can figure out how to apply this to the eye,
Yeah.
it could lead to new breakthroughs
Okay.
in treating those really challenging cases.
So curcumin could be a game changer in that area too.
Yeah.
It really is impressive how many uses this one compound seems to have.
It's like a Swiss Army knife of natural remedies.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of nature
Yeah.
and how we need to explore more
Right.
the potential of these medicinal plants.
It's like nature holds the key to
Absolutely.
so many solutions.
Totally.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I think the most fascinating thing is
Yeah.
we are just at the tip of the iceberg
Okay.
when it comes to curcumin.
Right.
There's just so much more to learn.
And to think, it all started with that work of an eye surgeon in Pakistan
Yeah.
using this ancient remedy
Right.
to treat modern conditions.
It's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that innovation can come from anywhere and that traditional knowledge is so valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we shouldn't underestimate ancient healing practices.
Right.
There's often a lot of wisdom there.
It makes you wonder how many other breakthroughs are out there,
Totally.
just waiting to be rediscovered.
Yeah.
But going back to curcumin, what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Yeah.
What should they be thinking about?
If we take all of this together, the research is really promising.
Right.
Curcumin has a ton of potential for eye health.
Yeah.
It could impact so many different conditions.
Wow.
But it's important to remember that curcumin is not a magical cure.
Right.
We need more research, especially these large-scale trials,
Okay.
to really understand how effective and safe it is.
So it's not just as simple as going to the store and grabbing some turmeric.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turmeric is a great spice to add to your diet,
Yeah.
but it's not a replacement for going to the doctor.
Right.
It's always best to talk to a doctor
Right.
before trying new supplements or treatments,
Especially when it comes to your eyes.
especially your eyes. Yeah.
That's good advice.
Yeah,
It's a good reminder that even things from nature can have interactions
totally.
with medications or other health conditions.
Yeah, a balanced approach is key,
Right.
combining the best of traditional wisdom
Right.
and modern science.
This has been an incredible journey.
Yeah, it has.
We've gone from leukemia cells to dental materials to nanoparticles,
I know.
all to understand curcumin and our eyes.
And we're not done yet.
What do you mean?
There are so many studies going on right now
Wow.
looking at how we can use curcumin.
Interesting.
We even talked about how it could fight aging.
Right. Yeah.
It just opens up a whole new world.
Like curcumin is this tiny little warrior
Totally.
fighting inflammation,
Yeah.
oxidative stress, even drug resistance.
It does have a lot of tools.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the big question our listeners should be thinking about?
I think the question is, could Professor Sarwar's work in Pakistan using curcumin to treat eye problems be a glimpse into the future? Could we be looking at a big change where natural compounds like curcumin play a much bigger role in taking care of our eyes?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that I'll definitely be thinking about.
Yeah.
It definitely adds a new meaning to that little bit of turmeric I put on my food.
Right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into curcumin and eye health.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.